Ancient tales hint at the powerful kennings, spells spoken in the unfathomable words of creation worked by the Magisters. It can be hard to separate myth from reality, but the few recovered scraps of authentic records from the Empire confirm that ships capable of sailing the tumult, works of healing that could restore lost limbs, and the ability to strike men down with bolts of lightning were just a few of the magics used during its time. This is a far cry from the contemporary hedge mages who, in the main, cast kennings to delay food spoilage, ward roofs against leaks, or to invoke appetite in the ill. Most of these mages exist on the fringes of their communities, balancing a nice edge of fear and appreciation. They often perform their services under a guise such as potions, usually just water made bitter with whatever weeds they have at hand, or prayer charms for intervention. The members of the community are more often than not aware of the true nature of these hedge mages, but the pageantry allows them to conveniently ignore the stigma and dangers associated with magic. As long as the hedge mage is fair and brings value to their community, they can make a comfortable living, although they have to step carefully. A single accusation of working darker magic or of charlatanry could bring an angry mob to their doorstep in short order. There are many theories and stories that attempt to explain why magic is so rare and difficult to use after the fall of the Empire. Some say that the Magisters came to Eamhna from a different world and that men were not made to comprehend the powers they wielded. Others say Magisters were men like any other, and that the same ritual that caused the calamity also broke magic itself in some way. Still, others say that the Magisters had simply perfected the art of learning and teaching magic, and that a millennia of knowledge was lost with them. Whatever the reason, attaining the ability to cast a kenning of real apparent power is a rare thing and fraught with risks both for the magic wielder themselves and those around them. Magic is rightfully feared and commonly used as a cautionary tale against the pursuit of power over others and the natural world. While it is not necessarily outlawed, most mages are wise not to advertise their practice of the arcane. An arcanist who is willing and capable of delving beyond the simple kennings employed by most hedge mages embarks on a path that, if followed to its end, will lead to madness and likely self-destruction. There are the rare few who can attain a real measure of magical strength and stop there, developing only the odd quirk or strange pattern of thought, but the siren call of more knowledge is strong, and many lose themselves, without ever seeing the line separating their original intentions from a free fall into fevered obsession with their area of study. Working magic is the act of either altering natural order or even completely inverting it. To see how reality can be warped, a mage must necessarily unmoor themselves at least partially from the understanding of physical reality that keeps other mortals grounded. It is considered a natural consequence that the better a mage is able to twist reality, they must twist their mind in a complementary way to achieve what it was never meant to. A mage who begins learning with a desire to heal others might become so overcome with empathy that they perfect the ability to take on all the illnesses and injuries of others onto themselves. They could become a walking personification of wounds and illness, spreading more corruption than they heal. Or they could start to see people as nothing more than intricate biomechanical machines and become so obsessed with perfecting the human form that they perform experiment after experiment on hapless victims with no room left for considerations of empathy or consequence. Most mages reach this state of madness before they have gained truly terrifying power and are dangerous, but not necessarily more so than a rabid bear. There are, however, a handful of mages in Eamhna who have managed to gain power that mirrors the old tales of the Magisters. They have found a way to maintain a hold on just enough of their sanity to continue to learn and still remain cogent enough of the world around them to employ their machinations. These mages are called the Driadur. They tend to live isolated lives, emerging only when their interests are jeopardized, but are a major force in the areas they reside. The desperate, whether it be a poor Rivali tribesman seeking revenge for his tribe or a monarch beset with enemies, often risk journeying to them for counsel or aid. Casting a kenning requires three things: an exertion of will, speaking words of creation, and a connection to the Kruv. The Kruv is the bridge that allows magic to pass from the Spirithead, an otherworldly realm to which all souls are connected. It's postulated that this other realm is the crossroads, or leftover spaces, between dreams, the mortal world, and the worlds of spirits. Touching the Kruv is the first step for any mage. It requires learning about something, be it a rock, a flower, or a body part, to the point where the mage has an intimate understanding of its parts, origin, and the way it relates and impacts the world around it. Once this has been achieved, someone with a talent for magic can instinctively sense the intangible connections between that object and themselves, and follow the juncture of those connections to the Cruve. While touching the Cruve, the mage can draw power from it and use it to bring a small part of the Spearhead into the mortal world and bend natural law. They must simply envision what they want to happen, understand how it could happen, and speak the words of creation to demand it done. The words of creation are said to be from the divine tongue that spoke the universe into existence. Each word is nuanced and perfectly encapsulates its subject, causing it to resonate and be under the control of the speaker. If a mortal were to ever learn how to fluently speak the words of creation, there would be no part of the mortal world they could not have dominion over. As it is, men do not have the capacity to gain mastery over the divine tongue. They might learn a word for wind, but there are 1,000 words for wind in the divine tongue, each one perfectly describing a specific variation of that natural force. The mage could still use the word they knew in a general sense to cast different kennings which alter weather in various ways, but their imperfect use of the tongue is the reason they need to draw on the power of the Cruve and apply an iron strength of will to make up for their lack of fluency. A mage learns a word of creation by careful study of a subject while maintaining a connection to the Cruve. Once they have an understanding of it and how it reacts to different applications of magics and their will, a word for it simply comes to them as if in a dream. A word of creation can be only learned through study and understanding and can never be told or passed down. These words contain the fabric of the universe itself, and even the mages capable of speaking them don't fully understand their meaning. If a mage were to cast a simple kenning using a word for death, Maru, they and any other mages who knew a similar divine word would hear it as spoken. Anyone else would hear the noise they most associated with the meaning of the word issued from the mage's mouth. A priest might hear a funerary bell, an undertaker the sound of a shovel breaking soft earth, or a doctor a racking cough that has claimed the lives of many of her patients.